I'm so excited for this generation to kind of come of age. It is a generation that I feel is particularly informed around identity. It's a generation that is asking hard questions.
The responsibility of keeping up to date with codes of ethics fall on the responsibility of the therapist. It is important for you to know what is going on in the field.
When working with a therapist, clients are often at their most vulnerable, discussing complex aspects of their lives and navigating difficult issues. At times, this can create a challenge for the therapist. So where can they turn when they run into these situations? Imagine a therapist is facing a challenging ethical dilemma involving a client named Alex. During their therapy sessions, Alex revealed deep-seated feelings of anger and thoughts of harming his partner. The therapist is concerned about the potential danger Alex might pose to his partner and the community at large. Now, it's important for the therapist to engage in a more comprehensive inquiry and evaluate the potential risk involved with Alex. For instance, it's essential to ascertain whether Alex has a specific plan to cause harm to his partner, or if he possesses any weapons. Additionally, if Alex explicitly expresses the intent to harm his partner, the therapist has an ethical duty to breach confidentiality and inform the appropriate authorities. If Alex's thoughts about harming his partner are less explicit and more ambiguous, the therapist should schedule individual sessions with each partner to thoroughly assess the risk factors present in the relationship. This assessment may include investigating any history of violence within the couple's dynamic and addressing any underlying anger management issues that Alex may be experiencing. In either scenario, the therapist must engage in open and candid discussions with each partner to determine the level of risk associated with the situation. Balancing ethical principles can create a complex situation for the therapist, one that requires consideration and consultation with supervisors or ethical guidelines to make the best choice for everyone involved.
Ethics is very, very critical. Ethics guides us in our day-to-day lives and in the work that we do. It helps us to navigate difficult situations that are there.
Meet Dr. Naveen Jonathan, a licensed marriage and family therapist and MFT educator. Part of an MFT's training is learning about ethics and how to navigate difficult situations. Many therapists follow ethical guidelines such as those of the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, AAMFT. Representing over 70,000 professionals in North America, AAMFT promotes best practices, ethics, and the advancement of the profession.
The Code of Ethics for the profession of marriage and family therapy is created by the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, otherwise known as AAMFT, are professional expectations and guidelines for the practice of marriage and family therapy, both here in the United States as well as across the world. For the Code of Ethics, it governs a lot of different areas, but one of the most important piece is that in that Code of Ethics is that there's a huge connection with public trust. By being a member of the AAMFT and also following the Code of Ethics,
the AAMFT Code of Ethics plays a crucial role in guiding through the complexities of ethical decision-making. It acts as a compass, especially when faced with challenging situations.
The Code of Ethics offers us the ability to refer back, to be able to look at what are our expectations, how do we handle such issues. Oftentimes we talk about sometimes when we have these ethical issues that they may fall in gray areas and gray spaces. So we can look at the code of ethics as a place for us to begin and explore to see what are my responsibilities, what are the guiding values in these code of ethics that I should be following. And from there, we may take other actions, we may consult with others, we may engage in other research, but it's a good place for us to start and to explore and to say, okay, what are those foundational values and principles that we should be exploring as we're making ethical decisions?
We spoke to Dr. Aisha Barber-Sutton, one of the contributors to the new AAMFT Systemic Ethics textbook, about how publications like this help students and new professionals entering the field.
The textbook is a really great tool, particularly for students that are starting off. It gives a wonderful comprehensive look at a myriad of different ethical considerations. I would say that it's also good for faculty if you are teaching an ethics course, right? Because it's providing you with the information that you need to help students to consider. It is a challenge not only to understand the basic code of ethics when it comes to how we operate as marriage and family therapists, but also to apply. And the textbooks provides a wonderful resource in terms of doing both.
For MFT professionals, it's a little more nuanced than you might imagine. Former AAMFT Ethics Committee member and chair, Dr. William Northey explains.
The AMFT Code of Ethics is our aspirational goals to deliver effective services. The underlying theme, as with all helping professionals, is to do no harm, but also to benefit the client. And I think that in family therapy, it's somewhat unique in that question we have to answer is, who is our client? If you're a doctor or an individual therapist, your client or patient is very clear. But if you're a marriage and family therapist, is your client the husband, the wife, the kids? So we think of our client as the family.
Coming up.
I also have a lot of colleagues that have different expertise, particularly in working with the high conflict divorce family. So have in the last year reached out to one of my colleagues and said, what do I do with this?
Despite their role as helpers, therapists are not immune to life's challenges. Like everyone else, they experience emotions and stress.
I have a case right now where the kids who are 11 and 9 don't want to meet with their mother. And they're refusing to do that despite a court order that says that they have to come and dad has to help. They'll sit in the room with mom, but they will not talk to her directly. And I felt stuck.
Therapists might even feel stuck when they can't find a path forward to help their clients, or how they can best help them work towards a resolution.
But I don't know in this particular case what the best thing to do is. And I think that's where you start to look at morals and ethics and legal responsibilities.
When you're acting independently, having a core set of colleagues that you can bounce ideas off of, always protecting the identity of clients, but saying, hey, I've kind of got this clinical situation and would love to kind of get your ideas on how I might navigate that, or resources that I might look into to help support my approach as a clinician. And so there's no time throughout our work as a marriage and family therapist where we have to operate on an island.
The value of a strong support system and resources in marriage and family therapy is clear. Collaboration is helpful, even for independent therapists, as colleagues offer a secure platform for idea exchange while upholding client privacy.
I'm lucky. I have a pretty robust resource community available to me. My wife is a MFT, so I can talk with her about things. I also engage in a monthly peer supervision with a colleague from the United Kingdom.
William takes his support game to the next level by having the support of a therapist spouse and engaging in transcontinental brainstorms. But wait, there's more.
I also have a lot of colleagues that have different expertise, particularly in working with the high conflict divorce family. So have in the last year reached out to one of my colleagues and said, what do I do with this? So I think, and if I really had a dilemma, I would reach out to get a consultation with the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. They have a lawyer who does legal and ethical consults around those things. So if all those other resources still got me to the point where I felt stuck, I would probably reach out to them.
But let's be honest, we don't have someone to lean on every time. So having a core set of ethics helps in understanding how a person can navigate some of these challenges. There are many clinical situations that may arise where therapists may face ethical dilemmas.
I may be seeing a couple for a period of time, and maybe perhaps the couple ends their relationship or they're moving towards the ending their relationship. But if a client at some point decides that they do not want to attend therapy anymore, it is the client's decision, when to stop treatment. We would not force them or to force them to attend. It's things like that I think are really important. They are wanting to continue on with treatment. Maybe one partner, for example, reaches out to me and says that they want to see me. Well, ethically, when I look at that, I've developed a relationship with both partners.
It's like that moment when a couple breaks up. Maybe you are a friend to both of them and have to maintain a relationship with each side.
And so for me now to work with one individually, that would be problematic because, for example, if the couple got back together, what do? I've developed a relationship with you individually, and now you've got the other partner entering into the relationship. It could be very much where I've now sided with one person over the other. If both partners enter back into the relationship and then they come into couples therapy, that is an example of an issue.
In addition to relationships, finances can also create ethical dilemmas. For example, what would happen if a client has a strain on their finances?
Maybe they had a issue that came up that affected their finances. They lost their job, for example. Or maybe they lost their insurance that they were using to pay for treatment. I know that treatment would be still helpful for them. How might I handle that? Would I make an exception for a reduced cost for treatment for a period of time? Would I perhaps even explore some pro bono work for a period of time because they would need it? Would I refer them maybe perhaps to another therapist or another clinic that could offer pro bono or low-cost clinical services? So those are some examples of these ethical dilemmas that could come up.
So now, imagine this. You're facing these ethical dilemmas. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Where do you turn?
In each of these particular cases that I've shared with you, looking back at codes of ethics and knowing what my responsibilities are and how can I ethically and consciously think of all different sides of the issues before I make a decision. And that's very important in this work to do. And again, when you have guiding documents such as codes of ethics, it's very helpful to be able to go back and to refer to them and to say, well, how might I handle this situation?
As a therapist, it's not uncommon to face ethical dilemmas. But by staying true to ethical principles, therapists can ensure that their clients receive the best possible care. These principles also help them become stronger and more resilient in their work.
If you have a passion for wanting to help people and to walk alongside their journey, not to necessarily be the director of their journey, but to help facilitate an understanding for them of what their journey looks like, this field is a wonderful way to kind of give back to give back in a way that is supportive, to give back in a way that is meaningful and additive in their experiences, and to create safety.
In the world of therapy, both experienced and new therapists face ethical challenges. Staying true to ethical principles is crucial to providing care. But as time moves on, so does our evolution. Therapists need to keep up with updated ethical codes and seek ongoing education to handle complex situations. Ethics serves as a guiding force to ensure both the client's and therapist's well-being.
The responsibility of keeping up to date with codes of ethics fall on the responsibility of the therapist. It is important for you to know what is going on in the field.
But how can therapists, with clients coming in and day out, stay up to date with the evolving ethics perspectives and resources?
It's important for you to have membership in an association. For example, the AAMFT. AAMFT puts out materials and information to the membership constantly to tell you there's this change that is happening, for example, in the codes of ethics. It is important for you to follow them so that they can guide you in the work that you need to do. Secondly, for example, AAMFT puts out the codes of ethics when they are revised.
Each state in the United States has its own regulatory board that governs the practice of various professions, including marriage and family therapy. These boards establish and enforce the requirements for obtaining and renewing licenses to practice within their respective states. The licensure boards set standards for education, training, ethical conduct, and continuing education for professionals in the field.
State licensure boards vary across the United States as well as in Canada, and even in some places across the world where there may be different governing bodies in the field that may be there. Here in the state of California where I live, we have a requirement for renewal of our licensure, which happens every 2 years. It is important for us to attend a law and ethics training or seminar. It's a 6-hour training, and so we receive updates in the field of marriage and family therapy to the codes of ethics that are out there.
You never stop learning, whether it's from your clients or your peers.
So it's important for us to be students, for us to learn and be aware of that. In my role as a clinical supervisor, as an educator, it is important for me to keep up to date with the AAMFT, with my state licensure boards, so that I have this information so I can educate my students, I can train them, mentor them as I educate them in the classroom or clinically supervise them also in their clinical work as well.
They're paving the way for new norms and forming connections based on genuine curiosity. It's a refreshing stance, one that holds immense promise for the future. This is why it's important they get the right kind of help in their journey of growth.
Once you are licensed to practice independently, as long as you're competent to work in any particular area, the legal and ethical requirements would cover that. Most people I know will get other certifications or training, whether it's in trauma-informed care, specific types of evidence-based family therapies, emotionally focused couple therapies. So there's lots of opportunities to learn more and sort of create a niche in terms of the populations.
So if you want to get into this field, what ethics or values do you need?
I think it's important for the individual to know about your own personal values and how you come to the field. Even as I was exploring entering the field, things such as being a safe person, being somebody that someone could attend to and come to rather, and knowing that you will be a confidential space, you will be someone that can hear, listen, empathize, be able to sit with the client in the moment, I think is very critical. And so I encourage oftentimes individuals who are going into this field to look at what are those values.
But is this a field for you? What sort of person do you have to be if you want to get into this field?
If you have a passion for wanting to help people and to walk alongside their journey, not to necessarily be the director of their journey, but to help facilitate an understanding for them of what their journey looks like, this field is a wonderful way to kind of give back in a way that is supportive, to give back in a way that is meaningful and additive in their experiences, and to create safety. And it often allows you to feel a sense of accomplishment within yourself, knowing that you have helped people along the way, and I'll walk alongside them until they feel confident enough to continue their own walk in life.
We are looking at how we can change the interaction patterns and the ways that people are so that they can stay in those relationships and can be healthy and happy.
Therapists who uphold ethical values play a crucial role in providing exceptional care and promoting a world filled with compassion. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Kristen Moran, and we'll see you on the next episode as we explore the jobs of tomorrow.